Legendary music artist and designer Pharrell Williams once said that in order to do great things, you must be unafraid to recreate yourself. And you can't do that by hanging on to the glory of yesterday. Growing up, I was always the smallest and most doubted person in the room, and with that being said, I was always the most courageous because I had to prove them wrong. I always put myself in uncomfortable situations, and I always battled against people that were 19 out of 20 times bigger than me. You have to be unafraid to change, and you have to let go of the past in order to be courageous and really do the things that you want to do, push forward. You have to continue to prove people wrong even though you've overcome one of those challenges. Being doubted isn't the easiest thing, but it takes courage to show people that you have to actually do something and really push yourself out there. You have to grow on the negativity that people bring to the table, and you have to use that as motivation to push yourself forward into the future. Being courageous means facing challenges, but once you face those challenges, you have to be ready for the next ones. I was always the smallest player, and I was always playing the best people in the country. So first I will be talking about my experiences in baseball, and how being a small player with no scouting report or anything like that, and how I was playing the biggest people in the country. Second, I will be talking about how I put myself in uncomfortable situations and how it helps me out today. Lastly, I will be talking about my future career and how I'm pursuing a career in the fashion industry, which is a highly competitive industry. First, I will talk about my experiences in baseball. As a person who stands 5'4" and a lot smaller than everybody else that I played with and played against, I played against taller and stronger and nationally ranked players. In my junior year of high school, I went to North Carolina to go play at a USA National Baseball Tournament. I went in there without any scouting reports, no name out in social media, all of that. But I took one opportunity, and I was just playing my best. One of the things that happened was I was put into the game because one of our better players was struggling, and I took that opportunity. I got the game-winning hit against the number 1 team in the nation, and I also made a lot of good plays. And with that being said, I was able to start in the field for the rest of the season, and I also became designated hitters, and I took a crucial role on my team. But with that being said, there's more that I wanted to do outside of sports. So now that I've covered my experiences in baseball, I will talk about how putting myself in uncomfortable situations and moving out of state into college. So why are uncomfortable situations beneficial? First, it builds courage. Second, it builds confidence. And third, it takes a lot of time to really be comfortable with yourself. Moving to a new state, I had to learn about a new area, I had to learn about new things, and it was creating a lot of boredom, and I had no friends, so I had to talk to a lot of people, which is really uncomfortable. But in order to actually fix those things, I really put myself out there, and I went to talk to random people and kind of just build connections with my peers and really break out of my shell. I'm no longer lost and alone. I feel more free with my life. Like I don't need to be held back from anything. Now that I've talked about the present, I'll be talking about my future in fashion and how courage is gonna push me to success in that industry. Pursuing a career in fashion is a very highly competitive industry, but with my courage, I know that I can be able to do something, and I know I'll do something big. This year, January 1st, 2025, I had my first job for my clothing brand, Official Industries, and although it didn't go as planned, I was able to learn from it. And realistically, that's exactly how That's exactly how the industry is. You have to build off of things, and you have to learn, and you still have to have that courage because you can't give up. People told me about the risks of the clothing brand, which are finances, marketing, and negative feedback. But that just made me push even more. Now that I've discussed my pursuit in a fashion career, I will wrap up what we learned. First, I talked about my past with baseball and my experiences of being short and playing against people that are much bigger than me. Second, I talked about the present and how putting myself in uncomfortable situations made my life better. And lastly, I talked about my future career path in the fashion industry, which is highly competitive. Being courageous always meant that you have to face challenges, but when you overcome those challenges, you have to be ready for the next. I'll conclude this by saying, just do it, which is Nike's saying, and everybody knows it. It's inspired and encouraged people to embrace life and challenges and be unafraid of what's next. You have to use this and be courageous, because you have to be unafraid of what's next. You have to be who you want to be, and you have to move on from the ups and downs of the past.